Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Panda Boop Creates, where we are a community of crafters. So today we're going to be talking about heat guides. How much heat do you need and for how long? Basically, every brand will have its own heat guide. So right now I'm on the Cricut website. This is their heat guide based on their materials and their presses. So you can see here I can click on Easy Press Mini, Easy Press 2, or Easy Press. Depends on what one you have. The most common one I think is Easy Press 2. And then you'll select which transfer material you have. And obviously not everything's going to show up. Like a permanent vinyl isn't going to show up because permanent vinyl isn't meant to be used with heat. This is only heat transfer vinyl, etc. or infusible ink, because that's also a Cricut thing. You'll find something that is the closest to what you have. Maybe you don't have the Cricut brand, but you have Siser or whatever, and you would rather use the Cricut heat guide because you have the Easy Press and you figured that makes the most sense. I've done that until I realized that most brands have a heat guide. So now I try to find the heat guide for the brand. Also, a lot of heat transfer vinyl will come with instructions on it, especially for like Siser. I noticed that they already have instructions on it, so you don't even need the heat guide most of the time. But this video is to show you where they are in case you can't find it or you threw out the label. So say I have foil, click foil, my base material. This is the stuff that it can go on. You see how some of them it won't let me click on them? That's because they do not recommend that you put that on that material. If it is whited out, it's for a reason. So probably don't try it if that's what you were planning on doing. Again, I find something that's the closest to what I have. So say I have polyester. And then I tell them I have an Easy Press mat. Apply. And it'll tell me how long and for how much temperature. It'll also say light pressure, which means you barely hold on to that Easy Press as it's happening. And you cool peel, which means you wait until it's all the way cooled down before you bother to peel it off of your t-shirt or whatever you're putting it on. If you peel it while it's warm, it might come back up. Flip and press for 15 seconds is pretty self-explanatory, but say you have like a t-shirt, you want to press the other side. That helps lock it in better. Honestly, I forget that step a lot, so you should try to remember that if you can. It also tells you any supplies that you need, prep, application, etc., etc. And again, this is for Cricut material and the Cricut Easy Press. So if you had Siser, they actually have a chart based on if you have a home iron or if you have a heat press. They also have this lovely tutorial that tells you the difference between a normal heat press and the Cricut Easy Press and what they recommend you using if you have the Easy Press. They don't want you to use these numbers here because the Easy Press is slightly different than a normal heat press, according to them. They want you to add an additional 30 degrees Fahrenheit to any heat press setting that they recommend. But again, if you have just a normal heat press like you'd see at a t-shirt shop, then this doesn't apply. If you have a home iron, this doesn't apply. But just in case you do have an Easy Press and you're using a Siser brand, this page is super helpful. I will link it down below for you. And this guide is super helpful. It actually tells you how to wash it as well. And so does the Cricut heat guide. So you can see here that it has the wash instructions. Now, the Cricut heat guide will only tell you based on the Easy Presses, which is unfortunate because if you do have a heat press, you won't know what to use. But based on other instructions, you would take this and minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit from it, and you should be perfectly fine. You can also do like test strips. Like maybe you have a t-shirt that you don't care much about and you can like test it on there to see how that would work first. Or you can Google it. I have found that a lot of the times, if I can't find it on here, like on this heat press or on Siser or whatever, there will be some sort of article already on it, because somebody somewhere would have already wanted to try this usually. For example, I tried to use infusible ink on a chapters blanket, so it's 100% polyester, like faux fur, super soft blanket, and I tried to use infusible ink on it, and that's not an option here. Not really, because with a blanket, it's different than a shirt. It's going to burn a lot easier than a shirt, and it's going to show the burn marks a lot easier. So just because it says here, oh, it's 100% polyester, doesn't mean that's going to work for my blanket. So I definitely recommend looking at these heat guides, but taking them with a grain of salt. Maybe try researching to see if anybody else has done the project that you were working on, and see what they recommend, especially if it's different than like your average shirt or blanks that you would get from Cricut. You might want to just double check. Siser definitely has more information than Cricut, I find. Siser also typically has more options than Cricut as well for heat transfer. There's also brands like Oracle that you can find, and they have instructions as well. So there are instructions out there. You just have to work a little harder to find them, but these are a good base point. And that's it, and I hope this helps you have at least a starting point of how to heat your material and for how long and where to look. I will link all these down below, like I said before. And if you have a unique combination, like my infusible ink on a faux fur blanket, comment down below so that everyone else can know it too. Bye, guys!